Hi kawan, welcome to EDCReady. Today I want to do a review of this guy. This is the Victorinox SD Classic and this is one of the limited edition runs. Now, one thing I'm doing different from this review compared to all the other reviews is that this is not something I carry every day, but this is something that, in fact, something I seldom carry. This is something that my daughter, my 6-year-old daughter uses, and she's been using this since she was 5. So this review comes from her point of view and my experience as a parent letting my daughter learn how to use multi-tools, in this case a small Victorinox Classic. First things first, I will be comparing it with a PS4 squirt. This is what I tend to carry with me almost every day of the week. Let's do some measurements right here. The actual length of the multi-tool itself is right around 2.2 inches. That's the total length. In terms of its width, okay, my calipers are dead, but I'll try my best. We're coming in at about 0.3 inches, and the non-locking blade, okay, the blade length, the sharpened blade length itself comes in at about 1.3 inches, but the overall length of the blade comes in at just over 1.5 inches, maybe a 1.6 inches. Now, in terms of its weight, this guy extremely light, very nice to bring into the pocket with me. It's coming in at 0.7 ounces. So great knife to actually keep in your pocket with you. Now, my daughter does carry this on a little lanyard here, with a nice little lanyard lock here, and she carries it with this guy. This is the Nightcore, one of the Nightcore tube lights here. Very nice light, but I have a full review of this guy up on my channel, so check it out. I'll be talking about her whole EDC setup in terms of its overall package in another video. Now, this one is actually it has the plastic scales that you get from Victorinox, but it's one of the limited edition runs. I forgot what pattern they have it here, but we call it her Elsa knife, because when she saw this, she saw it and she thought that it looked like the Frozen patterns from the movie Frozen 2, with the ice patterns and the petals, and she loves this. She calls this her Elsa knife. Now, quick overview of the tools that we have here, and I'm going to do a review of each of the items. You have here some tweezers. Tweezers, very nice, very fine tweezers, so very good for small thorns that she gets onto her fingers or she gets into her skin. Very nice for pulling out those small thorns. Not really great for pulling out things like nose hair. It tends to be so tiny, so precise that it kind of like rips the nose hairs in half rather than pull it all out in one go. So just keep that in mind. Next up, we have a toothpick right here, which is one of my daughter's most used tools. Here is a toothpick. She does this to dig, well, her fingernail. She uses this to dig her teeth. And one thing I realized is that these guys are actually reversible, because they fall right down the middle. Hold on, let me just get this in. They fall right down the middle, so this guy's actually nicely reversible, so which I thought was really cool. Has no difference in the function of the tool, it just makes it interesting. I didn't know about that until I had this guy. Next up, the absolute best tool that you have on these SD Classics are these tiny scissors. These tiny scissors, they're very fine, very precise scissors. Compare this on the PS4 Squirt. They have scissors, and these scissors are actually really good scissors. They come to a nice point, great for cutting nose hair. They are a little bit burlier than the precision scissors on the SD Classic. So this guy, great for cutting thread, great for cutting really fine, really soft material. If you want to cut something harder, like cable ties, you want to get burlier scissors. These tend to do better with cable ties, but for string, these guys tend to do the best. And I'm sure if you ever use a Victorinox, you know that they have some of the best, in fact, the best scissors in the world of multi-tools. It has a little spring here. So these are spring-loaded scissors, and this guy is actually user replaceable. So you can actually buy this guy, the actual spring here, you can buy it aftermarket and replace your springs in case your springs ever break or rust or give out on you, or simply just fall out. Very nice scissors. Next up here, we have this blade here. It's just your standard Victorinox 1.4116 steel, I think that's what they call it. Your Victorinox scissors, nothing special. They do come to a very thin edge because the blade itself is extremely thin, and these have a bevel on each side, which actually makes it cut quite a bit better than the PS4 Squirt. The PS4 Squirt ones, if you guys don't know, are chisel ground, which means that you have a bevel on one side. But on the other side it's completely straight. So it doesn't come to as fine of a point as this guy. So this guy, and I'm actually very impressed with how sharp this guy is and how long it stays sharp. One of my favorite things, one of my daughter's favorite things to do when we go camping is that she'll take a stick and then she'll debark it. She'll use this and then just carve the bark of the stick off of it so that she can use it to, stick her marshmallows in it or whatever she wants to do with it. And this guy just keeps going. Like, it doesn't really, it hasn't really gotten dull. It just keeps slicing bark off of it. You can even do some nice wilting of those sticks with this guy. So I'm very impressed with this. It really puts into question, like, do I really need something like Nitro V? Do I really need something like 20CV? Okay, definitely from a day-to-day basis, from an everyday carry basis, LC200N is great. It doesn't rust, but even for a urban carry, like, do I really need anything more than that when this guy can actually cut through or keep slicing bark on sticks without any problem for hours on end, like my daughter likes to do? I'm really impressed with this guy. Next up, we have the least used tool, which is this little tiny little flathead screwdriver, which can also be used as a tiny pry bar. My daughter uses this to dig into the ground. If she wants to find something, want to dig something out, a stone, whatever, she'll use this guy. And then you have a filer, which almost never gets used by my daughter, but I use it sometimes because after I clip my fingernails, sometimes you get little sharp edges around the side. So you can just trim down those edges a little bit with this guy. So my conclusion of this is that personally for me, this is actually a really nice little multi-tool. The only thing I would love is I would actually, instead of having this guy, I would actually have the Rambler, because the Rambler has a tiny little Phillips head screwdriver, which is great for opening up toy cars to replace the batteries, which I do quite often. I have a 6-year-old, and this guy carries really, really well. You put this in your coin pocket and you don't feel it at all. It's that light, it's that smooth. It's not really going to scratch anything else in your pocket if you put it in your main pocket. So from an everyday carry perspective, as a guy in his 30s, this is actually a great option. The scissors are great for trimming up any kind of rough fingernails on the side, or for even cutting nose hair. Or what I like to do is that sometimes my mustache, it kind of grows below my lip and it kind of tickles my lip a little bit, so I trim that. And then you have the what do you call it, the file here, which is great for like just knocking down the edges of your nails, which I really do appreciate from time to time. But as a father with a 6-year-old daughter, this is a great way to get them into EDC gear. It is small enough for her to carry, it is light enough for her to carry, it's pretty for my daughter and she loves it. You put it on this nice little lanyard with a nice pink little light here and she's ready to go hiking. She carries this hiking, camping, and it's a great way to teach them how to use tools, to teach them how to use scissors. Really gets their motor skills in action. They really learn how to use their fingers for doing stuff other than finger painting. Okay guys, that is it. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have this and let me know how many of these you guys have lost, because I know a lot of people have these and a lot of people have lost these. Thanks guys, and as always, stay ready.